Hello, and welcome to Fly Million Money, where we master your mindset and maximize your income. My name is Athena Gardner, and we are joined today with my fellow co-queens, Jade Harrell, who is a educator and media consultant. We have Lala Key, who is a international real estate investor. Candace Newman, who is a CEO and founder of Live Out Live, and Linda Husser, our bodacious lifestyle coach for Black women over 50. Now, today we are talking about the Diddy scandal, right? But from the perspective of what Black women can learn from it, okay? Because we always want to, even when we are talking about these trending hot topics, to give you the gems, to give you the keys about what we need to discuss here. So I want to hit it to Candace, since she's our music industry expert here. Candace, when it comes to the Diddy situation, and there are rumors that he is about to be indicted very, very quickly, name one thing that you think Black women can learn from this situation so far?
Okay, so I don't know for sure if he'll get indicted. That's yet to be seen. But I will say that I'm so excited that we are centering the conversation around the victim, the woman, the person who is being victimized in this situation. I think it's important that one, start believing women and start listening to women, and or victims and or people who are being victimized and or abused. Start believing them, start listening to them, and truly hold the victimizer accountable. Really hold them accountable. And I think that that's what we can do. We could rally behind each other, offer each other solace, and focus on accountability for the person who has caused harm. So I think that that's the most important part. And I'm so excited again that we are centering this conversation around the victim, the person who's been abused, instead of it being about Diddy. I think that it's important that we use those high profile people to center around important matters that really impact the everyday person.
Okay, great. Jade, I actually wanted to ask you a question. So we were talking about, Candace was recently talking about victims, right? People are saying that, are we victim blaming Cassie? Are we letting her, go scot-free? Do women have accountability when they're projecting lifestyles that they're not necessarily living, right? Because she was projecting luxury. I'm on these Met Gala carpets with Diddy, but we saw videos of him dragging her. Do women have accountability for the projections that they give?
Oh, I think that is definitely getting into the area of victim shaming, victim blaming. Red carpets are great. Having billions of dollars is great. I love money. I'm a money magnet. There is, nothing wrong with leading a luxury lifestyle. And you can live a luxury lifestyle and still be a victim of violence. And so I think people should really stop giving their unsolicited opinions in terms of what Cassie's experience was and what her lifestyle was. We are the public. The public is just, we saw something play out in the media, but we don't know these people, and nor do we are qualified to judge people. I don't really have much to say about how Cassie, is living her life, or how celebrities live their life, because I have my own life and my own issues that I'm working to sort through on a daily basis. Therefore, I'm rendering myself unqualified to pass judgment on these people. But I will pass judgment on the despicable behavior that we see Diddy enacting on the video, literally abusing her, putting up a post months before claiming that it was all lies, and then coming out with a BS apology. I will judge those actions, because that's clear evidence in terms of what was going on. Cassie is a victim in this situation. We need to create an atmosphere where we are supporting victims and empowering them to stand tall and to heal themselves. And I'm gonna end there. Thank you.
All right, great. And obviously, we do not support victim shaming or victim blaming here on this platform. Linda, our bodacious lifestyle coach, I know you give a lot of lifestyle coaching. Have you ever had clients that have had domestic violence situations? And if so, how have you coached them through that?
Well, let me first start by saying thank you for the question. And as a lifestyle coach, I am not a therapist. There is a fine line, but there is a line. I personally cannot say that I've had someone who shared with me that they were a victim of domestic violence, because I make it very clear where the line is drawn. I am here to work with you through your thoughts, habits, behaviors, and beliefs. And because of that, I am very clear on what I can assist one with and what I cannot. And I do not want to be held liable for giving advice or suggestions or leading someone down a path, either way, where I am not qualified to lead them. While I would love to give my opinion on that, honestly, I cannot say that I have personally coached someone who confessed that that was the situation that they were in currently. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Now, Lala, our international real estate agent, I have a question, and this was just me being curious. Have you ever worked with clients, showed properties, and observed any kind of, especially wealthy clients, right? Observe any kind of questionable power dynamics in those relationships or DV situations?
Yes, I have, very much so. And I've actually spoken up about them. First off, secrets kill. And if you see something, you need to say something. I've had two situations in Los Angeles where I have noticed that women were in abuse situation. And it was very obvious things of how he spoke to her. The husband spoke to the wife and the children. And then I would see bruises. And I literally have pulled people aside to ask how I can help them. One lady chose to leave. Another lady decided to stay because she said that she has children and she doesn't know what to do other than to stay with him. You can always offer your help. You can always offer your resources. You can always step in and be the sister that you should be to anyone who you know is being abused. It is ultimately up to them if they want to take that action and get that help. I was extremely happy to see that the young lady who I did speak to leave. And she actually went back home because what I told her was no amount of money, no amount of fame, no amount of promises is worth you losing your life. What is the point of being here if you can't live it? What are the point of these material things? You can always replace them. And so secrets kill. Don't keep secrets.
That is amazing advice. And I'm glad that you were able to coach a woman through that situation, because especially, and we'll discuss this further, power dynamics do come into play in these situations. If you are just joining us, we are Fly Nubian Money, helping you to master your mindset and maximize your income. We are discussing what Black women can learn from the Diddy scandal. But before we get into further information, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. We are here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, join our text club and text the word Queens with an S to 87948. That is Queens, Queens, to 87948. So I want to, before we kind of segue a little bit, I want to go into some statistics on domestic violence that I think is very important to educate our audience about, especially if they may be experiencing these things or know someone who may be experiencing these things. So when it comes to domestic violence, I think about only 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence during her lifetime. And domestic violence is a leading cause of injury to women, more than car accidents, muggings, and rapes combined. Every 9 seconds in the US, a woman is assaulted or beaten. There are also other factors that go into domestic violence. You're more likely to experience it based on socioeconomics. Nearly half of all female homicide victims in the U.S. are, I'm sorry, what are killed by a current or former male intimate partner. So you're most likely to experience this from someone you know. So, all right, I want to actually segue into what I call the wealthy man myth. And I discussed this with my audience before, and I want to bring it to Fly Nubian Money. So I don't know if you ladies have any experience dating wealthy men, around them, observations, and I would like to get you guys' perspectives on this, obviously. But I think that there's a myth that, you know, having a relationship with a man of means, a man of wealth, like Diddy and Cassie, and he is lavishing you and taking care of you, means that they're better than the average man, or means that, you know, these women don't experience things. And that's a myth. And I think that women need to understand that, especially within the culture of level up and gender war and all kind of things like that. We need to educate women on these experiences. So Candace, you're in the music industry. I'm sure you have rubbed elbows, shoulders with men who have money. Do you think that, and not to demonize men who also have money, because there have been great, wonderful men, right? But do you notice that with money and power, that maybe relationship dynamics change? Or do you think it's just the same all around, no matter the money or status?
I think that in the music industry or in the entertainment industry, sometimes there are facades put on. So some people may put up a facade like they have money and they don't. They may just have a talent that gives them access to people with money. So sometimes that is misleading to women, and they want to have close proximity to that, especially with women who don't have a certain level of self-esteem, that they have self-value and self-confidence and belief in themselves, that they are equally valuable to a man with money and access and power because of who they are, right? And what's in them. So I think that there's a lot of it's a lot of responsibility on both parts. It's how a woman sees herself and her wanting to have access to and or people in the music industry, and a lot of the facade that happens. But the people who are in the music industry who have wealth, access, money, and power, yes, that does heighten their level of control and dominance, and a lot of times it's just a reflection of their lack of self-esteem, right? Their money is their power. Their money is their true value. It's really not about how they see themselves, and so they use that to leverage themselves and to dominate and to exert more power and control over women, people, people who serve them. I've seen a lot of different, actions displayed by people with money and people with access and power, whether it's men and women in the music industry. But sometimes, like I said, it's a facade. Sometimes it's the responsibility of the women who don't have the self-esteem that they should have and the self-value that they should have in order to navigate around those type of people. Like myself, I am in the music industry. I have my own company. I have my own value. And when I do date a man who has money and power, I'm able to see through more about character and behavior and habits opposed to what he can do for me.
I love that, because what I've always said or told women is that character has to come first, regardless of how much money he has. Because if he's wealthy and he has no character, it's almost like a moot point. Like, he's not going to, the experience you're trying to have with him, you're not going to have necessarily. So Linda, our bodacious lifestyle coach, I have a question for you. How do you think about, have you had any issues with your clients or your own experiences with, men of wealth and those dynamics with their relationships? Have you had any clients express to you any relationship dynamics that may be unfavorable with wealthy men?
Yes, I can definitely speak to that. So, but here's the thing. It's not so much that women can identify the behaviors, characteristics, and habits of some wealthy men, because there are some phenomenal wealthy men out there, but those who are not will outshine those, unfortunately, because negativity always overshadows positivity, it seems. However, one of the things that I am most concerned with is not that there are power dynamics, but that so many women accept the power dynamic, expect the power dynamic, and tolerate the power dynamic, which then leads to something has to happen that is so absolutely outrageous that even they cannot no longer hide behind the Chanel bag or the Fendi shoes or the private jets or the maids or whatever else comes with being with these rich men. And that, I think, needs to be addressed as well. Not only the power dynamic, but the acceptance of the power dynamic until the alarm is a 911 blazing fire and you absolutely have to do anything. I believe most women will suffer until it's no longer tolerable, unfortunately.
You know what? You actually touched on something I was thinking about the other day, which is why, as women, do we wait? Do we endure so much for the sake of a relationship? You know, why is it that, like you said, until like it's like ring the alarm status, like why do we feel that we have to endure that much? Is it a question of our worth? And I want to ask this to you, Jade, because you know you have highblackselfesteem.com. I'm sure you cover self-esteem topics within the Black community. You're an educator. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, so my company really focuses on racial esteem. So knowing that we are of greatness, and having a level of esteem and pride and confidence in terms of who we are, and rejecting those negative stereotypes. Now, in terms of why women, Black women in particular, tend to endure more abuse and situations that are degrading, um, I'm not sure if we do that more than any other racial group, but I know that we are victims of post-traumatic, like of generational trauma and PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. And I actually got the concept of high Black esteem from one of my master teachers, Dr. Joy DeGruy, who wrote the book, Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome. I studied with her during the pandemic. And many of these dysfunctional patterns have seemed to be, they're kind of commonplace, you know, within our community, given our legacy of brutality, and being victimized by brutality. So I think that plays a role in it. And then also difficulties between Black men and Black women relating to each other can also contribute to that. And the final thing I do want to say before I turn the mic over is that I know that the conversation we're centering question is what Black women can learn from the Diddy scandal, but I also want to acknowledge and uplift that men can also be victims of domestic violence as well. And so I wanted to make space for that in this conversation, because oftentimes we do, you know, we think about domestic violence in terms of men onto women, especially in the Black community, but there are a lot of abusive mothers, abusive women in relationships that are kicking men's asses on a daily basis. And so I wanted to make room for that.
And can I say abusing verbally, emotionally,
Yes.
psychologically, not only physically kicking their asses. So
Yeah.
emotional and psychological abuse from mothers to sons,
Mhm.
you know, from partners, absolutely.
And with that, I actually want to go into some statistics we have about the impact of domestic violence on children, since we're discussing children right now. And so every year, more than 3 million children witness domestic violence in their homes. Children who witness domestic violence are at a higher risk of experiencing health problems, PTSD, and behavioral issues. Boys, since we're talking about boys in particular, who witness domestic violence are twice as likely to abuse their own partners and children when they become adults. Wow, this is so, that's that alone. And we see that with, I know when Chris Brown and that Rihanna situation, it came out that Chris Brown had witnessed that, and both of them had witnessed those kind of dynamics in their households growing up. So it's not a surprise that that will happen. Lala, our real estate, international real estate agent, why do you think that, women will endure situations like this? Is it the kids? Is it the loyalty? Is it, the money? Or do all those things factor in that?
I think every last one of those factor into the situation, but we always have to remember we are looked at as the glue of the family, especially Black women. You hear a lot of the time that the Black woman is strong. The Black woman is the center of our families. We hear that our grandmothers, our mothers are the ones, they're the glue. If anything should happen to them, our family would fall apart. So they carry this burden upon themselves to endure everything to show that they are the glue of the family. And that includes being the spouse, that includes being the good sister, the good aunt, the mother. And you're carrying all of this around, not knowing just how much pressure that's being put on you. Oh, he didn't mean to hit me. Oh, he didn't really mean to say that to me. No, he's a good man. And there's, in those situations, it becomes almost impossible because you're trapped in your brain. You're trapped in your box of feeling that you can't get out of that box. Even though someone is telling you can, you are worried about the stigmatization that you're going to get if you leave that situation. And we all know a lot of times people don't believe women when they tell them they're being abused. Or it's a family secret. We don't talk about these things out in public. What would they think of us if they ever knew? So it is all of these factors rolled into this ball of confusion, this ball of responsibility, this ball of what do I do and what do people think? And it has to be a point where we break out of that ball and really start thinking, I don't give a damn what people think about me. I am more important. My family's more important. My children is more important than to be in an abusive situation, whatever kind of abusive situation it is.
Thank you for that. And I think, we can all agree that prioritizing safety, prioritizing love, prioritizing happiness is immensely more important than any kind of material gain that you can get from any kind of relationship. So if you are new or just joining us today, we are Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master mindset and maximize your income. You are joining me, Athena, with my lovely co-queens, Lala, Linda, Jade, and Candace, and we are discussing what Black women can learn from the Diddy scandal. We are talking about sensitive topics like domestic violence today. So if you or anyone you know who may be in a situation like that, feel free to call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, 7233. That is 1-800-799-7233, or the word SAFE. Also, to make sure that you do not miss a thing that we do, because we are here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, please text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens with an S to 87948. All right, so we have discussed the wealthy man myth. We have discussed the domestic violence situation, but I want us to also discuss money. This is a money channel. We focus on finances. We help people to maximize their income here. So what I took from that scandal is I feel like a lot of the times we're drawn to relationships that fill a void, fill a need, fill a desire that we have. And a lot of us have financial desires, right? In my opinion, if Diddy was not as successful and had as much money as he had, I really question the longevity of that relationship or Cassie staying in that situation. Not to blame her, because I'm not victim blaming, but I do think, as we discussed, finances is usually a factor that plays in these domestic violence situations. So what I always encourage, and the question I want to pose to the panel, and I'll start with you first, Linda, is do you encourage women to create their own financial means and wealth, or do you advise them or even have them factor in their partner's wealth as well?
Okay.
Every time you laugh, I always laugh.
That's a tricky question. So here's my thought on that. My thought on that is we can all monetize our magic. We all have that special something, je ne sais quoi, whatever you want to call it, that we can monetize. So I am all about encouraging my sisters to get out there and make that monetization thing go ching ching. Having said that, we have also been conditioned and programmed to want to have a partner who is making money. One of the things, and I have to bring this up real quick, is Kevin Samuels would have ladies come on and they were talking about they wanted a man making 6 figures. And he was talking about, well, what makes you qualify for a man of that stature, so forth and so on. So we know that we are out here looking for men who can provide. Let's just be clear about that, and not BS ourselves about that. Having said all of that, yes, I encourage all women to make their own, because when you are in situations where the man is the breadwinner, I do believe that then creates a certain tolerance, because we're not trying to go back to what a lot of us came from. And so if we have to grin and skin, like Tina Turner's mother told her in the movie when Ike was beating her up, her mother told her, I don't know how true this was or if this was just for, the movie's sake, but she told her, you need to go back. That man, y'all have a band, y'all making money. What are you doing? So we have to factor all of that in. And at the end of the day, we do want a man. I don't want a broke man. I'm just going to keep it clear. And I'm 60 years old. I don't want a man who does not have any resources. And am I willing to put up with abuse? Absolutely not. But I still don't want a broke man.
Listen, I was looking for my tambourine with that one. Listen. So who want where my tambourine at? Listen, who want a broke man over here? No, nobody.
Not me.
Nobody. Listen, and I want to bring up too that Cassie went home to her mother and her mother sent her back too. So, maybe Diddy had them on payroll as well. Who knows? But that is often a common thing and a sad thing that occurs when your own family, because maybe they stand to benefit from that relationship as well, cannot be that source of support for you. And that's why, as a woman or a man, whoever is watching this channel, if you're going through something like that and you lack the support, please check out that National Domestic Violence Hotline. They can assist you and help you find resources so you can get the support that you need. Again, that is 1-800-799-SAFE, which is 7233. All right. So Lala, I want to kick it to you, right? You are international real estate agent. I'm sure you have all kind of clients, all kind of, incomes, all kind of properties, honey. Do you see a lot of women clients with their own money buying their own property? And do those women clients, are they moving about their investment with more confidence than per se a woman who is doing it with a partner or who may be the one in that relationship that is not really putting up the money for that house? Do you notice a difference in dynamics with that?
I do. I notice a big difference. I need to say that right now, women are doing their thing. They are starting to realize you don't have to be married. You don't have to have children to own property. And not only that, a lot of women, especially Black women, have decided they're tired of the US's BS and they don't have to stay there. So they step into their power and start thinking outside of the box. A lot of the women who start thinking of that are usually business minded. They either are digital creators, they have their own businesses, they have set their own standard to be okay to be married or not married. They're not dependent upon someone else for their income. And they decide that they want to live the life that they want to live. And so I'm seeing so many women moving about the world, not just within the United States of America, who have a different mindset. And this is one of the reasons I got into international real estate, because I don't want to live in those boxes. There's a big world out here. There's way more news around the world than there is in the United States of America. We are just trained to only listen to our own country, but we need to see that we are world citizens, and we need to be able to realize our dreams anywhere you go. You don't have to stay in the US just to realize your dreams. So most of the women that I see who are buying, especially in Portugal, are single women, believe it or not. And a lot of them are mothers, and they're bringing their kids. And so that means they're opening their children's minds to being a world citizen as well. And I see them being very well-rounded.
Listen, I love that. And maybe in the future, producers, maybe we can do an international real estate video, because I was like, what's going on in Portugal? And do I need to buy something there, Lala? That's what all the women are buying.
Yes, it's beautiful.
So, all right, Jade, our educator, high Black self-esteem. Do you notice a difference with women and how they're responding to taking ownership of their own wealth? And is that something, especially in the Black community, that we need to do?
Yeah, I see that happen a lot. I know a lot of my clients, especially folks who participate in my program at High Black Esteem, many of them are entrepreneurs, and they're looking for ways to become philanthropists. So I do see a lot of Black women that are making their own money, but they're also looking for ways to contribute. And that's really important, because they want to bring up the next generation and they want to give back, be it providing affordable housing through investments in real estate, to just advocating for women who are in domestic violence situations and opening up domestic violence shelters. I'm seeing more Black women, especially that I work with in media, also create funnels of wealth to go back into the community. And to me, that's just like really satisfying to witness.
I love that. Now, Candace, our music industry expert here, I want to ask you, when it comes to the wealth in the music industry, is it skewed more so towards the men than the women? Do the women have wealth, or are most of the women basically trying to get taken care of by the wealthy men in the industry?
I mean, as I mentioned before, there are levels. And as Linda mentioned, women are really stepping out and becoming their own business executives and making their own money and creating their own paths. So a lot of the women who are my peers, because I am a business entrepreneur in the live music industry, I used to work in corporate America for a very long time, producing concerts and tours. Now I own my own business doing it. I also have a nonprofit where I'm increasing diversity in that space. So I'm doing exactly what we're here talking about. And a lot of the peers that I have who are women are doing that same thing. So there are levels. There are people who are actually trying to get into the music industry and emerge into that space, who may want to latch on to the power dynamics and the money and the access so that they could find their way. But there truly are women that I know and that who are in my circle, or who are in proximity of me, who are making their own way. They're homeowners, they are mothers, they're wives, they are just dynamic Black women who are creating their own path and making their own way. So that's the industry that I'm, navigating around. I don't know any other way. So, I can't really speak to people who are trying to get into the industry and what that dynamic looks like. As far as money and power for men versus women, women are just as equally as powerful and have equal amount of money as men have these days, right? But I can't really count people's pockets because I really don't know. But like I said, a lot of it is a facade. A lot of it is a reality.
Okay, and I want to pivot to Jade really quickly because I think you can also add to this.
Yeah, I'm very concerned that, excuse me, ladies, I gotta curse again because I have a potty mouth, that the fuckboy faction on the internet is circulating these ideas that women, especially Black women, become unmarriageable when we have our own businesses and we're making money. And a lot of these ideas are coming out of the manosphere, right? Oh, they're saying that women who have a lot of degrees or have their own businesses and are millionaires are unmanageable and are not a good match for men of a certain caliber. And those are the narratives that need to become demystified. So while we're talking about Black women empowering ourselves financially and doing all of these wonderful things with our money and with our businesses, I'm concerned about the younger generations of Black women who are growing up literally on the internet and listening to this rhetoric, thinking that they are not worthy, that they're not enough, and they have to dumb themselves down or go without in order to qualify to become marriageable or high value women. So I wanted to throw that out there to see what y'all thought about that, but it's very, very concerning to me.
I'm glad that you threw that out there because I'm very versed in the topic. So I do think that is a dangerous rhetoric that is being put out there by that sector of the internet. Even though small, they are quite loud, honey. And I think it has definitely skewed and diminished dating culture in a very negative way. But from my personal experience, from having male mentors who are wealthy, have millions of net worth, dating men who are wealthy and have millions of net worth, my intelligence, my education was seen as a positive because what they appreciated was being able to have great conversational skills, to be able to talk about life, to be cultured. They appreciated that you had your own ambition, right? So they're still looking for certain character traits that women who have their own business or have their own money, can bring to the table, quote unquote. And for women, and that's why I also want to break down that wealthy man myth for women who think all you have to do is be beautiful. I'm here to tell you that is not true, honey. They see beautiful women every single day of the week, and they will smash and dash you in 2 seconds. The women that tend to have more staying power, or if you're looking to be their wife or a permanent figure in their role, you need to add value to their lives in the ways that make sense and what they are missing, which is usually they would want someone who's warm, has a great personality, good conversation and listening skills, and also someone who has high self-esteem. If you're coming in, I look cute and I have low self-esteem, they might smash and dash you, baby mama you at best, but you will not survive in that world. I would like to say that. Candace, you seem like you're shaking your head. You seem like you have something.
No, I mean, I'm just really agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with what Jade said about that culture. And Linda mentioned it earlier that we're tolerating it. Not us on this call, but the majority of Black women are tolerating it. They're accepting it. They're embracing it as a lifestyle. Some of them are embracing even open relationships because of those dynamics, the fuckboy dynamics, and how they're lacking the self-esteem to set the standard higher. So I'm just really agreeing with what you guys are saying, and I'm really feeling it.
Linda, I know, because you were preaching about not taking the broke man, Linda. I know you have something to say on this.
But see, here's the thing. Lala, she was saying that we're from a different generation. It's just a different world out here.
Linda just saying that she don't understand what we're going through. That's basically what's saying. That's not the reality she
I'm
lives.
just saying, I mean, most women late 50s and up, this is not our reality. And I just have to say that while I agree with you, Jade, Candace, all of you, there has to be something to be said for sharing the cheeseburger and the fries together. You take a bite, I take a fry, you take a sip of the shake, I take a sip. Let's split this apple pie and then come up together. So all of this that I'm seeing is just so outrageous to me. But I didn't grow up with social media. You walk to your friend's house, if they weren't there, it's like you put something, a note in the mailbox, or, and you just dealt with it until you caught up with them. But we're in this microwave society, so we want microwave love, we want microwave material things, we want microwave homes, we want microwave cars. We don't want to have the hoopty and then graduate to the Hyundai and then go to the Acura and then finally get to the Bentley. You need to be coming out the gate with the Bentley, the red bottoms, the Chanel bag. We're not trying to share nothing. We're going straight to the lobster. And if you can't provide that, see, you don't want to be.
Can I add this? The one thing that won't ever change in spite of social media or the times is that a high quality woman who has value will always add extra value to a man and multiply whatever he has going on, right? So that is across the board, no matter what century you live in, that a woman who has something to bring to the table is going to not only bring it to the table, but take whatever happens the man is bringing to the table and multiply it 10 times over. So I think that won't change no matter what era we're in and what decade we live in, right? So that's one point that I wanted to add to that a really valuable woman is going to really contribute to what a man already has going on. And a man who has character and high value about himself is going to seek that out.
Listen, I feel like I'm in church today, honey. I feel like I'm being baptized by the water, honey. Okay, so Lala, you have had a long-term marriage. You started out the bottom, and now we're here with your man, girl. You and experience what we're talking about right now. Can you give any advice to the ladies about what you were looking for in your husband and what character traits in him has allowed you guys to have a marriage that has lasted this long?
For one, we had commonality in the fact that we loved music. We went to the art school together. I helped build the recording studio that we had. There were days where when we were at Howard, we were eating ramen noodles, and I mean sharing a ramen noodle. I don't mean a whole packet, one of each other. We were sharing. We was riding around. My first car didn't have any floors in the back seat. Okay, so we were growing together. We knew what we wanted. We saw the vision and we saw it together. My husband respects women, and he also encourages women to step out on their own power. When the days that I didn't feel like I don't sing like her, he's like, you don't sing like her, you sing like you. So these are the things that you want in a partner, where you can uplift. And when you come home and you're feeling beat up, your partner helps to uplift you and hold you when your head is hanging low. And I feel tears coming to my eyes just talking about the things that we started with together and saw together and realizing that dream together. Like, we just got off of a tour going to Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. I mean, I can't see myself being with another man, because this man stepped in and created this partnership with me. And it's more than just material things. It's realizing the dream together. We work together. And so if there's something that I want, he's always there to cheerlead for me. And if there's something that he wants, I am there to uplift him as well. You have to see this as a partnership. And it doesn't always mean that you always want the same thing at the same time, because sometimes you may want to go off to the left and try something new. So you needed a partner that's going to help you and allow you the freedom to go and grab those things. I can't stress that enough. I don't care what somebody else has. Can you grow with me? That's what I need to know. And that's what I have in my husband. And nobody else can have him because he is mine and I am his.
How many
And
years?
God blesses me to 90, he's going to be mine.
How many years you've been together?
31 years this year.
Ooh, yes, honey.
Married before we even dated.
Wow, that's amazing. My parents been married for 40 years, I think, this year. And it's so interesting. And I'm glad you talked about your husband in such a positive way, because it's important that our men who do show up, who do the work, who are supportive, get some kind of shine as well. And I will say this, having a father like the one that I have, he was very honest with me, and he always told me that I needed to, excel and be great. And the funny thing too is, like, in our family, looks was never brought up as a thing. So I never really focused on it until like my late 20s, to be honest with you. I was like in sports and school. But he always told me, or one of the things he told me that stuck out the most was like, men will, approach you because you're beautiful. But when you start talking, they won't know what to do with you, and to just be okay with that and to not diminish myself to accommodate that. But enough of all of that. We are at Fly Nubian Money, honey. So we are discussing what Black women can learn from the Diddy scandal. And clearly we can learn a lot, because we've been talking about financial wealth. We've been talking about being safe in relationship. And we have been talking about debunking the wealthy man myth and all this high value stuff, everything on the internet. If you are new or you do not want to miss out on anything that we do, because we are here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, text the word Queens to 87948. That is Queens with an S to 87948. Now, we're going to keep the show rolling, and I actually want to do a slight pivot, okay? I want to talk about the mindset and psychology, or the dark side of wealth. And I actually want to make some parallels, because it just seems like, I don't know what it is, in 2024. 2024 has been dragging all of our celebrities and political figures, and everything has been coming out of the closet. So recently, former President, Donald Trump got convicted on 34 counts of felony criminal charges. And what is interesting to me is, I noticed the parallel between him and Diddy is that both of them kind of move like they think that they're above the law or above the system. So to see Trump actually get, convicted in this way is personally surprising to me. I want to talk and start with you, Candace. Are there any parallels that we can draw from the Diddy situation with President Trump? Do wealthy men, regardless of industry, so in Diddy's case, music, and Trump's case, what is he, real estate, right? Do they think that they're above the
business, politics, whatever he wants to claim?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is he above the law? Or do those men think that they are above the law?
Yes. People with money and power, it emboldens them to believe that they are above the law, that they are godlike. They have a godlike syndrome. And then when you have the general public rallying around that notion, and it empowers them even more. And when they actually, it's proven when they actually commit crimes and get away with it, that emboldens them even more. So yes, I do believe that they believe, and men believe, and or people with money and power and control believe that they are above the law. And still neither Diddy or Trump have been held accountable for any of their criminal behavior that we have seen as of yet.
Right. And I want to talk about, I live in Palm Beach, right? So when Trump lands here, he's at the airport 10 minutes from my house. And when I drive past, he has like his base, his fans waiting for him with signs. They will stand in rain. They will stand on I-95. I have never seen this level of cult following. Even when, Obama was in presidency, like I've never seen people react this way to a president. And I feel like with the conviction, what it's going to do is just embolden his base. But I want to pivot to you, Jade. Why do you think people like Diddy or people like Trump have this cult like following? Do you think it's because of their money or their power? Like, what makes it so people are just like insanely enthralled with them?
Yeah, because I think they're using an old playbook by this man named Robert Greene called the 48 Laws of Power, which basically teaches people how to become master manipulators. And creating a cult like following and having people sort of look up to you as a religious figure is important for their brands, and it brings them more money. That is one thing. And then also along with that, they are narcissists, master manipulators and narcissists. And this goes back to an earlier comment that you uplifted, Athena, when you said that Cassie ran to her mom's house and then her mom sided with Diddy and told her to go back. Narcissists and master manipulators are really, really good at turning everyone else against you. And so you look up to them. And unfortunately, even when the video of Diddy abusing Cassie came out, for example, when Trump said, grab him by the pee and did all of these other things, people still sided with them because they literally live vicariously through these celebrities, and they have accepted the manufactured godlike complex that people like Diddy and Trump have created for themselves. And it's really, really sad. And then also, yes, I'm sure people are acting crazy in Palm Beach, but did y'all see the chick who was jumping up and down, flashing her boobs for Trump in front of the courthouse this week? People are absolutely out of control. No matter how many receipts you show them, no matter how many abuse videos come out about these people, folks will make excuses for them and they'll continue to cape for them, because at the end of the day, like that book, 48 Laws of Power, says that people need something to believe in. And unfortunately, when folks are more invested in believing in the power of someone else versus their God-given inherent power within themselves, this is what we see. And we're going to continue to see more of this.
So are you basically saying they're megalomaniac versions of themselves? The following plays into it, feeds it, it makes it even worse because they're like, oh, I have this God, like, these are my fans, these are my, So Lala,
they play into the base. These people know how to say the words that people think and are afraid to think out loud. So when they feel that this person is the emulation of what they want to be, now they become the cheerleader for that person. Okay, so this is why you see this in everyday life. They're talking directly to their heart. So if you was always a racist, but you didn't want to say nothing because you thought maybe next door neighbor might not like you, but now the next door neighbor also likes Trump. Now y'all both can get together and say the things that you've been saying in secret. This is how society works. Someone of that stature gets there because there are other people underneath him who feel the same way. I have never understood in the first place why someone who maybe lived, now I'm from Kentucky. I was born and raised in Kentucky. So I don't understand how someone in the Appalachian Mountains who gets no money, who barely knows how to speak, who doesn't get any education, decides that they want to go to people who are going to represent them, the Mitch McConnells and stuff, when they don't care about honey, you can be thrown into the Ohio River. We just want your vote. Everything else, you're not getting nothing else. So I don't understand that mentality, but they look up to them because of the power. So you have to actually look at the mentality of the people who are following them and why. The ones at the top already know how to manipulate them. They know all the tools and the words to say. Let's remember, Trump came out with a Bible. Talking about, that's Bible. Hold it upside down. Now all of a sudden, everybody who's a Christian thinks, oh, he's a good man. He's a good man. So it's the same thing going back to the mentality of abuse. You see how all of this ties in? You have to learn to step out and think for yourself and know that you have your own power within yourself to become and be what you want to be. You got to stop putting people on pedestals. Simple.
All right. So Linda, I was thinking about this for you. People are frustrated. People are stressed. People are angry. Do you think, especially when it relates to Trump, that he gets a lot of support because people can kind of release that through him?
Trump gets a lot of support because most people have low self-esteem. They don't have any confidence in themselves. They put lids on their dreams. And so when somebody comes along and tells them that even though you have low self-esteem, even though you don't believe in yourself, even though you haven't really lived your life, I'm here to tell you that you are important. You are okay. You don't need to do anything more. I have given you the go forth and prosper mantle, even though I know you're not going to do any of that. And now, because I'm a billionaire, I'm telling you that I'm still ordinary, just like you. I don't even want you to see that I have a private jet. I don't want you to see that I sit on gold toilets. I don't want you to see that I own all this property. I know, but that's not what it really is. It just looks like I'm really, 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 really rich, but I'm really not. And once you can get somebody to not believe what they see, like even with them climbing all over the Capitol, now they're trying to convince us that that's not what we saw. But we know if there was just 3 Black men trying to get over, they would have shot them dead. We all know that. But there was hundreds of them out there breaking windows, doing all kind of stuff. But they're telling us they were just normal tourists strolling through the Capitol. So most people just want you to tell them what they want to hear. And if you can be a great person telling them that, oh my gosh, they will give you the keys to the kingdom. Because Ray telling them there's something, that doesn't matter. But if President Obama said that there's somebody, oh, okay, that must be what it is. So that's just my take on it. Everybody wants to be seen and heard. And if someone of stature sees them and hears them, they're going to go to war with you.
Okay, I agree. You made a lot of sense there, Linda. So I want to get into predictions and also, share where everyone can find you. So prediction, we're going to start with you, Candace. Will Trump or Diddy go to jail, and where can everyone find you?
I personally think that Trump will not go to jail, unfortunately. And there might be a chance that Diddy does go to jail. And that will be fortunately because he has committed some heinous crimes. So, and you can find me at liveoutlive_LA on social media or at PYT Candace on Instagram.
Okay. Jade, how about you? Is Diddy or Trump going to jail? What are your predictions, and where can the lovely people, our audience, can find you?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm with Candace. Diddy, I think he's definitely going to jail, prison at that. Trump, not so much. If he spends a day or an hour or any time in jail, his base will be activated. And I am concerned about public safety and what that will mean for the country. So I'll leave that there. I know that he spoke today. Trump spoke today. He gave what was supposed to be a press conference, but it was just really a really incoherent rant because he's big mad. How dare anyone find him guilty on anything? And so while it is entertaining to watch, it is absolutely frightening to watch. This is a reality of our country right now. And you all can find me at highblackesteem.com. That's highblackesteem.com. You can find me on social media platforms at Lioness Crowned. And thank you all so much for having me today.
All right. Lala, people are saying in the comment section that Diddy will go for sure and Trump won't. What are your thoughts?
I agree. Diddy's going to go. For one, he's a Black man. They're always going to make sure they take down a Black man. Let's not get it twisted. If this was Obama, who did the same thing as Trump, he would have been gone. He would have been under the prison. Trump has activated the worst part of American culture. And unfortunately, that has put us in a weak spot. And it is also, I believe America is going to burn all the way down before it can even begin to rise from the ashes. And what we need to do is to still make sure, don't accept it. Don't accept it. Get your butts out there to vote and make your voice be heard. Not only just vote, get active in your communities, because it's only going to be us that makes the difference. Don't let them speak louder than us. We are stronger together. And that's simple as that. And you can find me at bit.ly/Laura Key Info. I have all of my social media and all my channels there, and I would love to hear from you.
All right. So our bodacious lifestyle coach, final thoughts, and where can we find you?
I don't think Diddy's going to jail. I don't think he's going to jail. Unfortunately, I believe that a lot of people will take the money. I wish that Cassie would have went to trial so that, I just wanted her to have her say. But, you never know why people do what they do. I don't think he's going to jail. I think his money will protect him. And you can find me, Linda Husser, or speaktolinda.com. Thank you so much for being here today.
All right. And my final thoughts are this. Okay. I think that Diddy will be convicted of something, right? But I think he's going to have the Russell Simmons Bali package and fly on his jet and live the rest of his days on an island somewhere. Trump, obviously he just got the 34 counts, but honestly, I think he's going to be able to, even if he does get convicted and goes to prison, he will be running this country from prison. I think he's going to win that election, even if he has to call from the cell and call the White House conference meeting room, honey. He will be running this country from a cell. So those are my predictions on that. My name is Athena Gardner. I was your host for today. I am a CPN Women's Wealth Coach. You can find me and all my offerings at wewealthwomen.com. I do courses, my podcast, and I'm here with you guys on Fly Nubian Money. All right, that is it for today. I hope, a lot of us learned a lot from what we can learn from these scandals between Diddy and President Trump. I hope you were able to get some great gems, and me and your queens will see you in the next one.